Hello again, everyone. Edwin Learnard back once again. In this YouTube astrological segment, I'm going to be dissertating and talking about Jupiter transiting the third house in a natal chart. Now, on average, Jupiter will traverse a house for approximately 1 year. However, if your house size is larger than average size, then Jupiter will be in there for a longer period. If your house size is a little bit smaller than average, then Jupiter will be in there for a little bit of a shorter period. Well, anyway, first thing I look at when Jupiter transits the third house, there could be a lot more communication that's more ebullient, that's more exuberant. You might express a lot more exuberance in communication. If your chart even suggests, say, that you're a rather quiet person, very taciturn and introverted, this could be a time where you might be a lot more outgoing and gregarious. You might be a lot more loquacious than usual, maybe even garrulous during this time, because Jupiter is the planet of expansion, and this could certainly expand communications. Also, during this time when Jupiter transits the third house, this could also perhaps expand short journeys. You might be finding yourself taking a lot of short journeys during this period, trips in your neighborhood. You might be doing some things in your general neighborhood, as far as like maybe there might be some errands for neighbors which would involve short journeys. There could be also, when you look at this placement, now Jupiter transiting the third house, this could also perhaps give a better rapport with siblings, if applicable, if you do have at least one sibling. If the relationship is good, then it may even be better. If the situation between siblings was not good originally, then during this time it might be a lot more advantageous when you have this transit. Now, keep in mind too that Jupiter, okay, look at the third house, and third house could be associated with learning. Now, the third house with Jupiter in the third house, transiting the third, could expand this. It could facilitate perhaps learning in general, assimilation of knowledge, and also dissemination of information as well. This could be a time where you can be a lot more verbose than usual, be able to verbalize what your thoughts are, and say them and know what to say, how to say it, and the timing could be exceptional as well during this time as far as communication goes. Well, the third house is also, look at this, it's about our neighbors. And this could indicate a more auspicious time with your neighbors. If you had any situation with your neighbors that may have been at least somewhat contentious, this could be a time where they might improve dramatically. And it could also, in regardless of the previous situation, it could definitely be a positive time for matters connected with your neighbors. This could be a time where you might show a lot more benevolence toward them, and they may show this toward you. If they were aloof to some degree, you might find them a little bit more outgoing during this period than usual. And keep in mind, Jupiter is also can be associated with sports. And if you have any siblings, maybe this is the time where you might become maybe involved on a recreational level, perhaps maybe with your one or more of your siblings in connection with sports, like recreational sports, and maybe even with your neighbors, maybe playing touch football, for example, could be a possibility, or just any sport in general. You might become more involved with as far as playing sports, maybe with one or more of your neighbors. So those are some things to look at as far as this transit goes. And the thing too is that Jupiter also governs higher education. And the third house is connected with communication, thinking, and maybe this is the time you're at least contemplating perhaps taking a college course or some post-high school subject to learn. So those are, as far as this this transit goes, this could also be a time where you might be, as far as your communications go, you might be more jocular. You might come across as a little bit more friendly in your communications, more jovial than usual. You might be, even if you're the kind of person that has a very stern, serious disposition, this could be a period where you might incorporate more humor into your conversation. And those are, as far as this transit goes, those are some things to consider. And really, I think what I want to get at too is that it's also important to look at the aspects that are made from this transit to your natal planets and points, as this could impact the transit. Now, let's say, for example, that transiting Jupiter in your natal third house is making a square, inconjunct, or opposition to your natal Mars. Well, this could be a possibility of danger of deluding yourself in regards to what you can accomplish, and as far as maybe having a distorted or exaggerated viewpoint of what you're able to do. And being in the third house, this could be associated with perhaps communications, any kind, writing, and maybe even matters connected with siblings, or maybe there's something connected with short journeys of what you're able to learn and assimilate in terms of knowledge, say, in a certain amount of time. Now, another example, let's say transiting Jupiter in your natal third house is making a conjunction to your natal Jupiter. Well, this could be very fortuitous and auspicious period in general. It could be very positive for long distance travel and higher education. And being in the third, this could be perhaps somewhat tied in to siblings and neighbors. Now, anyway, people, that'll conclude this YouTube astrological segment for Jupiter transiting the third house in a natal chart. And stay tuned next time, where I'll be dissertating and talking about Jupiter transiting the fourth house in a natal chart. Two things I want to get with you on before I head out. Firstly, the stars may impel but do not compel. And secondly, never isolate any single astrological element, aspect, planetary placement, position, configuration, influence, or what have you, and make an analysis of a person, astrologically speaking, based on this alone. Because astrologically speaking, the person is the sum of all their components in their natal chart, and not just one. Until next time, people, stay well.